This video provides a short introduction to the Dynamic Widgets product by Ravenblack. We'll go through a couple of the key points of the installation and some of the things you can use immediately to help get started. For the purposes of this video, we'll assume that the application itself has been successfully installed as a content server application and there are no red flags and a restart has been performed. Now let's look at the application itself. We're going to use the application analyzer to visualize it. And to start off with, the application itself is primarily made up of a SmartView widget and code within that. But more importantly than the interface to SmartView is our API, which is built into the body of any dynamic widget that is created. We also have some custom icons you can use and some built-in library files such as the D3 visualization tool. Under the actual content server objects we provide, most of these are separately useful as demonstration and development aids. Under demonstration widgets, there's a file here called demonstration instructions. And this is an HTML file you can view, and it gives you for each different demonstration explanation of what it does, how to build it, how to use it, and any unique qualities about it that we're trying to illustrate within the demonstration. All of the pieces you need to build these are under this folder. The development widgets folder gives you some useful web reports you can include in a perspective, and it will show you, for example, this one here demonstrates all of the different identifiers for every widget on a page and different things you can use to manage them. This one here shows several built-in constants you can use within your source. This one here shows all of the useful icons that are available to use in your application. And this one here can be used, in fact, saved, so you have a default web report to use in your development. So it has some built-in code that would be good to start off your development. Besides these development and demonstration items, of course, we have documentation. This is available separately, but we've also added into the application so you can download it. The main documentation is in this PDF document, and that is fully fleshed, including diagrams, explanations of configuration, some specialized diagrams to help understand some of the concepts, and general guidance, not only the API itself, but general guidance on how to develop in some of the more advanced topics. In addition to that, we have relatively simple documents built in. We'll look at them through the viewer in the analyzer, but you can use whatever viewer you want, and the HTML one should show up in the browser. This is specifically about the API itself, with information about each function you can use, along with the allowed parameters and some examples in most cases. The HTML one is just a duplicate of the Markdown. They're just two different formats for display with relative merits for each. Now let's look at the Perspective Manager and what you should expect when you've installed the Dynamic Widgets product. On the left-hand side, in addition to the usual sections, you should see one that's called Ravenblack Dynamic Widgets. If you do not see this section, then the product hasn't installed properly, or you haven't done a restart. It's also sometimes necessary to do some extreme cache clearing prior to SmartView showing up new sections like this. Once it's there, you should have a widget type, and this will look and behave very much like a standard web reports HTML content widget. Here's some of the differences you'll see though. The widget size is the same, but of course you can programmatically change these widgets to any size and shape you want. These other items are the same, but again, you can programmatically change them or set them at the time when everything loads. The first unique thing is this visible option, and this is because dynamic widgets in many cases are there and revealed or hidden programmatically. You may not want them to be visible when the perspective first loads. It's also possible to have a dynamic widget that is invisible and is simply providing the API and functionality in the background that can be used to do things with other widgets. Every dynamic widget is assigned a unique ID. This can be anything from something readable like viewer or numbers like R001. It doesn't really matter as long as they're unique. And this is used to be able to access and manage different widgets uniquely. The web report ID is optional, and that's because dynamic widgets can be loaded at initial loading time, or they can be loaded dynamically at any point in the application's progress. In that way, we also differentiate some options as initial content options and dynamic content options. I won't explain those within this introduction, but we will provide guidance on these later, and there is information within the detailed documentation. In addition to web reports parameters, which historically have been useful to pass information or set information that's unique to the widget, we've introduced a concept of constants, which does something very similar, but it has a slightly more abbreviated syntax. You can use a handlebar or mustache syntax. These are more purposely for things that you want to be unique in the widget. This differentiates from constants in web reports, which are set for that web report. These can be unique for each instance of a web report that's used in a perspective. That concludes our short introduction to dynamic widgets. We'll be providing additional videos specific to different demonstration examples and also to specific, more complex features that were not covered in this video.